In today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down how at 24 years old, I've accumulated a net worth of greater than $200,000 and the specific diversification that I currently have with different brokers. Now, I'm even going to get into a really, really cool desktop app feature that I personally use like no other. It's called Miro, and I'm going to be explaining how some of the capital that I have in my savings right now will be used in some of my next steps in my business strategies. So stick tuned and yeah, look forward to explaining that.
Okay, as I mentioned, I would be breaking down how at 24 years old I've achieved over a net worth of $220,000, which, for what I've been doing, I'd say is pretty good. A majority of the money that's being funded into this account has just been from my occupation and earnings. So, just breaking down my current accounts, I have a Coinbase account, and up until recently, it was a Voyager digital account, that crypto exchange wallet. However, due to potential liquidation issues and insolvency, and the fear of going bankrupt, I switched everything to Coinbase, and I'm glad I did that because Voyager Digital just recently stopped withdrawals. Then I have a Robinhood account, and both of these accounts are more lighthearted and fun. The Robinhood is just for a little bit of I would say gambling in the sense that it's either options trades or just relatively risky investments that potentially. Now my broker one is my essentially my baby, where I'm a little bit more active and I'm either defensive or I try and seek for growth options, and this has been predominantly funded by my occupation as well. Then I have a second broker where I have a personal and a Roth account, so making that discrepancy between both. And both of these are relatively automated in terms of it's just a RoboCop advisor. I might look in the future to have a specific advisor look after the Roth and even potentially the personal once I've accrued a little bit more money. Now, the Roth was from a previous company that I worked for. I essentially did a rollover into this Roth, and that's why essentially my 401k at my current company is a little low. Then I have my savings account, which is just shy of 30,000, and I'm just waiting to look at the market to see what I can be doing with this. And in the near future, I'm going to be essentially looking to diversify either with real estate or the future business endeavors. So that's essentially why I'm a little bit on the hold of because I'm normally not one to just be very cash flush. I like to have things invested. And then the 529 account, which was part of broker 2, and this was a joint account that fortunately my parents funded early on, and this is something we contributed to year after year until um, for essentially college. But with the way my MBA program is going, and I might have that fully funded, this is something that uh, could be liquidated, and because if it's a tax-free account, might look to essentially roll that over into one of these others. So this is essentially just a big schema of my current portfolio and in terms of everything. And yeah, I'm very proud of it so far, and essentially looking to diversify at this moment and just be a little bit cautious and wary of where the market is heading. And yeah, thank you. With that capital that I have in my savings, where I'm looking to essentially diversify and start gearing toward a business, I went ahead and started using this really, really useful app called Miro. And you can create essentially what's known as a Miro board, and essentially allows you to have tactics, campaigns, flow charts, diagrams that really align with what you're looking to do. And for the purpose of my board, I've essentially established a mission statement and essentially a vision. Now, they're very, very similar. My missions both are pretty broad, and in the sense that I'm essentially looking to help the greater good, and but my vision is I want to promote both happiness and longevity for people. Now, some of the strategies early on, just for some initial capital generation for my long-term goals, is the Amazon storefront and essentially potentially a kiosk and vending machine business, just to start accruing some money on the sides. And this mirror board isn't necessarily fleshed out. Um, and I still need to think of marketing, commercialization, when I'm going to learn, and so on and so forth. So I've broken it down also by years, when I plan on doing things, and sticky notes attributed to certain years are designated a high priority tactic, a medium priority tactic in this case of this blue one, or even a low priority tactic with the green sticky note. So I'm still looking to add some, but learning how to sell on Amazon, huge one that I'm looking to currently do, as well as the UCI New Venture competition that I had previously participated in. And yeah, so right now everything's geared toward just a very basic backbone of my strategies and ultimately the tactics that I'm going to attain that goal. So one, there's only really high level one strategy I have at the moment, and everything else is just kind of a subsequent um, what's going to be done. So even that's a tactic in and of itself. But launching an ecosystem of products in the consumer sector is something I'm very passionate about. And, as I come out with more on the Amazon storefront, that will be kind of my gauge to see how I'm doing. So, yeah, thanks for joining. And like I said, this is a really, really useful tool. Miro, highly recommend if anyone's looking to just visually get some ideas down on a page just for themselves to either think for the future and so on and so forth. Now, mine isn't, like I said, very fleshed out. I still need to add some, refine it, and make it more kind of a convincing story. But this is where I'm starting, and yeah, thank you for tuning in.